In the morning, when you get ready, you probably think about how you want to appear that day. Polished, a little professional, maybe a little fun. So you pick out your outfit, you take a spin in the mirror, everything's copacetic, so off you go. But you know what I bet you're not thinking about? Is whether the earrings that you chose to wear this morning are going to sound like wind chimes every time you turn your head. Or whether your blouse is going to fall off that one shoulder every time you grab your laptop. Or whether the vitamin powder that you put in your coffee this morning is going to make your mouth taste chalky for hours. We often think about how we look, but we rarely think about how we feel. And I don't mean emotionally, I mean in all of our senses. So how does this immediate sensory environment that we live in impact our ability to think clearly? I'm Dr. Steffie Tomson. I am a cognitive neuroscientist and an entrepreneur. When I was a professor at Baylor College of Medicine, I remember getting a calendar reminder for a seminar that I was dying to attend. It started in 10 minutes, and it was way across campus, and it wasn't in my schedule that day. So I looked in my afternoon, and I had a lab meeting, a lunch, a panel discussion. I had to pick up my girls from school and swing by the pharmacy on my way home. There was no way I was going to make that sprint in the heels I had chosen to wear that day. And so I didn't go, and I really regretted it. And I don't know if this is relatable to all the men here today, but I guarantee you every woman understands the struggle of rearranging our calendar in order to avoid wardrobe discomfort. And that moment of missed opportunity really stayed with me. So I did what any good scientist would do. I brought my heels into my lab, and I ripped them apart, and I sliced them in half with a bandsaw to find out what on earth could be in these heels that would be so uncomfortable that I would voluntarily choose to miss an opportunity. And inside, I found unforgiving materials, plastic, metal, nails. And suddenly, I became obsessed with this new knowledge that women everywhere are walking around in heels made out of materials that amplify the shock of every step we take, sending pain signals from our feet to our ankles, to our knees, to our hips, to our lower backs. And this seemed unacceptable and unnecessary. So I started playing around with some softer materials that would absorb the shock. And now I own my own company where I engineer heels for women made out of foam, for women who want more gain and less pain. This notion of sensory pain feeds right into my research about the way that the brain integrates the sensations of our world. For years, I studied the networks of sensation, attention, distraction. But what I didn't realize at the time is that there was a really good cognitive reason why that heel pain was so frustrating for me at the time. And it has to do with the way that pain is processed. Pain is a very well-conserved, very important signal. It's the body's way of telling the brain, hey, something's wrong. We are bleeding, we're broken, and you need to stop what you're doing and fix this so that we can survive and stay safe. And that makes sense. But what about everything else? What about all those worries and the whispers about the jacket that's a little too tight, or the necklace that's too heavy, or the skirt that's a little bit too pinchy, or the belt or the tie? Over the course of hours or a day, those things add up to a state of unrelenting pain. And your brain doesn't know that these are not life or death. It doesn't care. It just wants the noise to stop. The more distractions you have, the harder it is to focus. A few years ago, my 4-year-old daughter gave me a ring made out of pipe cleaners for Mother's Day. And I wore it dutifully to work. And I proceeded to get poked at random intervals all day by these tiny, loving, exposed wires. And the next morning, she asked me to wear it again and again and again and again, but I knew that if I did, I wouldn't be able to think straight. So I turned it into a pin, and I put it on my lapel. Same sentiment, fewer pokes. And the more I started thinking about all these sensory distractions, the more I realized something important. My wardrobe was thinking louder than I was. And that matters, because if we think about a surgeon, or an astronaut, or a firefighter, a soldier, a judge, do you think they have the mental shelf space for all these nuisances? Of course not. And what do they wear to work every day? Some version of a soft, familiar, unencumbered uniform. And you don't have to be in the operating room to appreciate this, because if your job involves any amount of creativity or leadership or important decisions, you're already operating under pressure. Why add more? So now let's imagine that you're going into your next big meeting and you're really confident, maybe a little nervous, but your outfit, it is stylish, silent, and familiar. It's like an old album you've heard 100 times. Enjoyable, predictable, just fades into the background. You're not thinking about your dangly earrings or the strap that falls down or the hem that's too long or short or the blouse that's a little bit too cut low. You are thinking. You are listening. You're learning because you are dressed for deep thought. So let me tell you how I can help you get there. I call it the sensory edit. And it's not a closet cleanout, not a wardrobe overhaul. It actually has nothing to do with fashion or style at the time. It's more of a filter. So when you go into your closet tomorrow, start by asking, will this interrupt me? Will this headband give me a tension headache? Will this bangle clang against the desk when I'm typing? Will this blazer make me too warm? Will this tag itch me in that weird place? And if the answer to any of these questions is yes, then just remove them. Just ditch them. I hear you thinking already, okay, Steffi, so you're saying I have to wear a boring uniform forever. Of course not. I have many beautiful, uncomfortable things that I just choose to wear selectively. For example, I was invited to a gala about a month ago with a Mardi Gras carnival theme. It was very over the top, very glam glitzy. And I chose to wear a multicolored, gorgeous feather collar all over my shoulders. And it made me look fabulous, I felt fabulous, and I proceeded to spend the entire evening brushing broken feather hairs off of my dress. But it was okay, because my only job was to relax, meet new people, and have a good time. And on Monday morning, when I got ready for work, I saw that collar hanging in my closet. And I had these wonderful memories of conversations that I had and the organization that I was supporting. And then I went to grab my favorite pencil skirt, my oversized blazer, my foam heels, and off I went to work to think and create and learn. So the next time you're in your closet or shopping for something new, maybe don't just ask, will this look good on me? Ask, will this be quiet for me? Dress down the distraction. Because in a loud world, we all deserve clothes that let our minds lead. Thank you.